Have you ever been lost? Did you know there's a fountain of excellent information out there? It's called the YouTube comments. Oh, sorry. The Wintergatan YouTube comments. Cause, they just solved one of my largest issues. Check this out. Eden Porter, maybe someone has already pointed this out, but vibraphone bars sound best when struck off-center because the center is a harmonic point. That would also give you a shorter required bounce distance to avoid double hits. 720 upvotes. I love being alive at this moment in time. So I've been playing vibraphone for huge audiences my whole life and I never knew about this. That's an effect of me just trying everything in my life without having proper education or thinking things through first. I was sure I had to position these hit points in the center of the plate, which meant that the marble had to bounce far. I have a whole video showing that problem. But now, if this is true, they suggest that we should hit the plate here, leaving a much smaller jump. If this is true, this is gold. Let's try if we can hear what these commenters are saying. So what they claim is that there are harmonics in the middle and that hitting the plate here would produce the best sound. That's in the middle. Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna record this properly and show you this in an EQ. Here's a sine sweep. You can follow the frequency of the sound we hear here. So I figured we should test this and see if we can see the difference here. That's in the middle. It's very clearly. Look at the peak here at 2K. That one. That's this one. No, 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 no. It's like a major third harmonic. So if we hit the middle of the plate, we get a fundamental plus a major third, like this. Further down, off center, we get an octave. So we go from this, which makes it messy, to this. Let's try a shorter note. C sharp, 5th octave. Hit in the center. Hit off center. This is very disappointing because with this shorter note, I have to say off center sounds much worse. So keep track of this spike up here. When I hit in the middle, that one is lower. And there it sears through the ceiling. Center. Super clean fundamental, you can see it here. So this is so typical, I was so happy, but it shows that we have to do a compromise. The lower notes want to be hit off center, but the higher notes doesn't. When I just thought every problem in my whole life had disappeared forever, we found more issues. So the lower notes wants to be hit off center, but the higher notes doesn't. Since I want some freedom, I want to be able to put higher notes, like this one, further down. So if the higher note wants to be hit in the middle, there, and then I put the low note on the same spot, then this wants to be hit here, but we can only have one hit point with the marbles. So now we have to find a sweet spot compromise between long and short notes, doomed to perfectionist hell. So these spots are the latex hit points that Marius made. I can actually just peel them off because now we're gonna move the hit points. Okay, so I have all the plates gathered in a piano pattern, 37 holders individually designed. Well done, Richard from UK. So the compromise I need to find out here is that the longer notes wants to be hit further down this way. The shorter notes wants to be hit in the middle. Sometimes the longer notes and the shorter notes are going to switch places a little bit on the Marmachine X. So I have to dig out the best compromise possible. So my plan now is to take every single note, hit it, and find out the optimal hit point for that note. So this is definitely the sweet spot for this plate. Here. Let's take a really short one. Okay, maybe it is still just below center. So here again you can clearly see that the shorter the note is, desto closer to the center of the plate it wants to be hit. 3 down, 34 to go. I'm so happy I don't have to do 38 this time. So I discovered something pretty odd that I want to ask all you vibraphone pros out there. This note, B flat 4, wants to be hit pretty far below the center to avoid the harmonics. Center, glassy feel, off center, nice feel. And already I just move up here a major third to D sharp in the 5th octave. This one wants to be hit already dead center. Over here is a beep 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 ugly harmonics. The best fundamental I get hitting it in the center. And above this note, E has the same thing. So it seems to be a shift right here where everything above wants to be hit center and everything below wants to be hit off center. So there are 11 slots for vibraphone plates on the Marble Machine X. But look now what happens. So this long bar wants the marble to fall right here. If I would have put a short bar there, it wants the marble to fall there. So where should we drop the marble? Here or there? So maybe the highest notes never have to go down here. So maybe I don't need to do a compromise between these worst case. This is a very low note. This is a very high note. So I take a note in between. All of a sudden I see that the compromise I need to do between these is much less. So I need to make some hard decisions about how low I need these high slots to be able to go musically and how high I need this slot. So this decision is a little bit complicated. And I just realized that, of course, in music, you most often play maybe here, in this range. Maybe I don't play so often up here, and maybe not so often down here. I have a feeling that the vibraphone on the Marble Machine X will play mostly melodies, but sometimes I also want to play chords. So if there's any children at home watching this, I'm going to make you real jealous right now. The best thing about being grown up is that you're allowed to draw directly on your own tables. 10, 11. These are the available slots on the Marble Machine X. So if I decide that on this lowest slot we can only play this note, F3, we can hit perfectly on its sweet spot. And the same goes for any of these slots. If I decide this slot can only play E5, I can hit this note perfectly with the marbles. And I want a lot of choice for scale. So on this slot here, maybe I want to play all these notes, which means I want to actually be able to put B4 here, like that. Then I have to make a compromise where the marbles are going to hit between this and this spot. So the tough decision I have to make is to optimize sound quality or to optimize choice of scales and melodies that I can play. So I think for me it's more important that I have freedom with what kind of melodies I can play than the difference between this and this. I think the simplest way for me to do is to just pick from the range here the highest note that I need to put on the lowest position and the lowest note that I need to put on the highest position. C5. Do I ever need to go that low? No, I actually don't. So now I'm suggesting G4, which means the range from G4 to F3. Let's check in our document how far that is in centimeters for the resonator pipes. This is the Excel sheet for the Vibraphone physics. The range I'm proposing is F3 to G4, an adjustment of 50 centimeters. So here's a resonator pipe, and this ruler is 50 centimeters. And yes, we can do 50 centimeters of adjustment. So G4 seems to be a good highest note, because otherwise we will need these resonators to be really short, which will give us an interference problem with the bass and this gear itself. Okay, we're getting somewhere. On the lowest slot, I'm gonna have G4 as the highest note. D5? No, I'm never gonna play that low. My music is more dreamy than that. We need those sparkling stars up here, not only the darkness from down there. C5. Yeah, I can see a song where I only want to play chords. Ba ba ba, ga ga ga, da da da, and some other instrument plays the melody. I could see a potential use for C5. Again, let's check resonator pipe length. So for C5, we need a resonator pipe between 10 and 30 centimeters with adjustability. And we can do that on the machine. So this configuration will give me the opportunity to play any scale that I really will need. I think for all these slots, I want to hit pretty much in the center, and then I want the hit points to go down from here. After a lot of thinking, this is my compromise position. I'm going to use this template. I'm just gonna bend it. But here you can see higher up we hit in the middle, and lower down we hit further down. But this is problematic because a note in the middle, like this length, that might end up here. It also might end up there. So the info in these comments have been golden. It's just a shame that it's not true for the shorter plates. So the long plate sounds so much better off center, but the high plate sounds so much better center. When people see this finished vibraphone, they're gonna think, wow, Marbles plays music. They have no idea about the compromise with this hit point, with the variable of resonator pipe length, harmonics on different hit spots, etc, etc. Change of melody, change of range, all these things. So with this compromise guide bar in place, I can take any note, B4, check in my Excel document on which slot this is gonna go. So the lowest slot I'm allowing it to go is here, then I can make a mark. And the highest is here, I can make another mark. This data tells me how big hit pad I have to make. Check this out. This is a tonal range here and which slots they should be able to go to. Let's start from the highest note down here, F6. Look, we only have to position F6 in one slot because there's no higher note. So I put F6 on here and we have our hit point bar. I'm going to draw perpendicular. Let's make it more difficult. D5. So we have D5 here. 4 to 8. 4 to 8. This is a nightmare, okay? So then I only draw on the underside here. Now I draw on the top side. So you can see that the optimal hit point for this plate is here, but the range where I want to use it is here. We have our beautiful range in the sheet, and I'm done. So now when I have all the hit points marked out, I can now apply the latex. But before doing that, I need to choose a scale for this test, a musical scale. So since the bass guitar is not activated on the Marm Machine X, I only have 11 notes to make music with. So I wanted a little story, even though it's only 11 notes used. I cannot use a lot of different notes in the bass down here. When I have the bass on the Marm Machine X, all those low notes will be played by the bass, and I have more notes on the vibraphone for the melody. So the range of this little test music is the lowest note. G is this bar. And the highest note, D, is this little bar. So that's fun. We get a range from a very low note to a very high note. G3, there. This was D5, top slot. We have our scale. This note is on the vibraphone. Let's move on to some latex work. When you're playing tuned percussion, the mallet comes in so many different softnesses. Very soft, harder, 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 hardest. This is brass. Our marbles are as hard as the hardest mallet. So instead of coating the marble with felt, which is not very practical, we're applying a thin layer of floating latex on the plate itself to get this harsh sound down to more something like rubberized, like this one. I'm marking these lines on the highest spot on the side of the plate. Mark it here, here. And with a clean rag, I use technical acetone to clean the surface of the plate. Marius told me I had to do this, so my marks will disappear on the top side here now. This gives me instant headaches. So with a square, I can now line up the permanent marker mark I did and draw a line. And then some leveling. It's like on a snooker table that you roll the ball. I can put a little matchstick under here. That looks good. If you don't want to run downstairs to get your actual level, you can always use a marble. So Marius left me these syringes. So we did some experiments and we found out 2mm was almost good for a smaller plate than this. So I'm going to try to take 2mm latex and spread it on this big surface. I think we reach a good thickness. So Doctor has ordered 2mm. Okay. Here we go, my first plate. I only seen Marius do this. It's like making a pizza when you try to get the tomato sauce even. Takes me 5 minutes before I'm happy with the pizza tomato sauce spread. Have you noticed ever when you're plating food that when you just whack it onto the plate it becomes more beautiful than when you stand and try to lay things correctly? Wow, it's already setting. Was I too slow? Oh yeah, that was Marius said also. So the thinner the layer of latex, the faster it sets. And then he says to blow out air bubbles with a flame. Earlier in the project we used rubberized cloth for this effect, and we've noticed that the latex is really adhering to the plate, becoming part of the plate. It doesn't kill the sound almost at all. It's like just fusing together with the plate, and a glued on rubberized cloth acted as a damper for the plate itself and not only for the marble. But the latex gives a great bounce and we hope a great sound. Going to try to work a little bit faster on this one. If there's any kids watching, this is the great thing with becoming a grown-up. You can do paint by numbers with liquid latex. Even before the latex has set, we still have a great sustain. It's not killing the vibrations of the plate. This says it all actually, listen. So I'm hitting outside the latex, on the latex. You see all these spikes up here is this super nasty metal on metal. The magic of the latex. And listen to this sustain. It's amazing, this sustain. So I'm really happy with the first latex pad I did. I rigged all the other 10 up. It feels a little bit thin. Add just a drip in the middle. I think I worked too slow on the first one. Just go a little bit harder on this one. Here's the tomato sauce. Let's do one more right away. Big one. It was Marius' idea that we should draw lines before doing, so we have something to follow. I think it was a great idea actually. Et voilà, I've let the latex sit overnight, and I have to say, this looks really great. So this is a scale. So next step for me is to go and take these plates and put them on the machine itself and try to make a test piece of music. However, before I remove this pipe, I need to make a huge job. I need to build the marble drops up here. You can see we have 2 already, the 2 I tested. I need to build all 22. So when I build the marble drops, I need this pipe to be on here because I want to hit these points with the marbles. Then I know that the marbles will hit these latex pads correctly for all the notes. That will be in the next video, and hopefully in that video I will be playing a little melody of some sorts. These videos and the whole Marble Machine X project is crowdfunded through Patreon and YouTube channel memberships. I want to thank everyone who are supporting. You are helping me making my dream come true. There is now 3,713 Wintergatan backers, and that's actually almost 500 new since we last counted, so welcome all new backers. As I said in the video, I am building the marble drops right now, so in next week's video I hope to be able to show you the vibraphone playing a melody. Thank you for watching and see you on the next Wintergatan Wednesdays.